afternoon, folks. My name is Abby Getman-Skillicorn. I'm delighted to have you all join us today for Local Sourcing 101. So we will be going over simple, compliant procurement that you can use in your nutrition programs. So today we'll be doing a little bit of welcome and introductions, talk about this procurement decision-making, cooperative purchasing opportunities, as well as how to find local vendors to meet your sourcing needs. Mass Farm to School also has a host of different resources and opportunities that you can engage with, and we will leave time for Q&A. For today's webinar, please note that the chat function is disabled for attendees. We will be dropping links and resources into the chat, but should you have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A function for today. So again, welcome. My name is Abby. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Special Projects Manager with Mass Farm to School, and delighted to be joined by Simka Horwitz, one of our co-directors.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with you. As Abby said, I'm the co-director at Mass Farm to School and ready to get started talking about procurement. So our goal today is really to help demystify some things about purchasing regulations, ultimately trying to make the purchasing process for you as easy as possible so that you can focus on getting good food to kids. We really want to support schools in doing local food procurement in a way that's both compliant and ideally trying to remove some of the burden both from the individual school and from farmers and other producers who may be wanting to sell to schools. So there really is a whole cycle of procurement. It's not one single activity, but includes really trying to plan or forecast what your food needs might be, and then determine what the purchasing method is going to be, developing the appropriate solicitation or method for how you're doing that purchasing, evaluating the responses that you get, awarding a contract to a vendor, and then monitoring that over the course of the contract or through the school year. So there's all these different steps, but we're really focusing on today is the process of determining what's the right procurement method for you based on what your needs are and how much purchasing you're going to be doing. So there's some real questions you can use to get yourself started in setting yourself up to choose the right procurement tool. The first thing is obviously just figuring out what is it that you're looking to buy. Is it local fruits and vegetables? Is it dairy? Is it seafood? So there may be a whole product category. There may be specific individual products that you're looking, but you want to know what it is you're looking to buy, and then start thinking about how much of this product or products are you going to use over the course of the school year or the fiscal year, because the procurement method that you choose is really determined in part by how much money you expect to spend in total over that period of time. So you want to think about how frequently you also plan to use the vendor. Are you purchasing a product or group of products one time for a special event? Or is this something that you might be doing in an ongoing basis over the course of a whole school year or maybe the course of a season? And then you also want to find out if you have any specific municipal regulations that govern your purchasing. So all school nutrition program food purchasing is governed by both state and federal purchasing regulations, but then we also layer on top that municipal regulation, if it happens to be that there is one and it's more strict than the federal or state regulation, that is the one that you have to follow. So usually a town business manager or someone of that type of role would be able to tell you if there's any specific regulations you need to follow in your own city. So answers to all of those questions are going to help you decide which type of purchasing method you're using. And we divide these into two categories. Informal procurement, which is a more simplified process, and formal procurement, which is required for any purchasing that you're doing that's going to be over $100,000 in the course of that school or fiscal year. Informal procurement, the more simplified process, is for purchases that in total are under 100,000. So the informal method, there's sort of two categories in here. The first is a micro purchase. So this is if you're going to be spending under $10,000 in total. Really, this is just a process of following what they call sound business practices. So making sure that the price is reasonable, and then you're free to work with whatever available vendor there is that for you to buy from. Now, if you anticipate spending more than $10,000 over the course of the year, you're going to do a process called a request for quotes. And this is developing a specific document where you're going to outline the products or product that you're interested in. And you have to send your request to quotes to 3 different vendors. You don't have to receive 3 responses, but you have to send it to 3 vendors. And then you can make an award to whichever responsible vendor has the best price. And you can either choose to make a line item award. So say you have developed a request for quotes for a whole set of products. You can either award to vendors for specific line item in the request for quotes, or to a market basket of products. You just have to specify in advance whether you're going to do that line item or the market basket approach. We have worked closely with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to develop a sample request for quotes that you can use and adapt for your own specific school's need, to make it really easy to fill in, your school name, any specifics about the delivery requirements and things like that that your school may have, and then list the products. And this Mass Farm to School is also available to help you adapt that RFQ for your needs. We have a QR code here on the slide that'll take you right to that sample request for quotes.
And just one other note about the request for quotes, the sample RFQ, it's a Word document that has anything you need to customize specific to your district and to the specific products you're looking for, highlighted in yellow. And we've heard from multiple, multiple districts that they've found that tool to be really useful. And their business offices also appreciate having that documentation, especially when you're getting ready for a procurement audit. Next slide, if it goes.
Great. So for formal procurement, again, this is if you anticipate making over $100,000 worth of purchases within the fiscal year. You're going to need to do this formal procurement process. You can either do what's called an invitation for bid, an IFB, or a request for proposals. And the request for proposals is really for purchases over $50,000. So it's a bit more lengthy process. So it's unlikely you'd want to use it for a small purchase anyways, but that kicks in at 50,000. And if you do either of these, the invitation for bid or the request for proposals, there's then no limit to the amount of spending that you're able to do under this type of solicitation. So an invitation for bid is really helpful when you're doing a single item or just a few items. You have to have this like technical specifications for that product. And then you make an award to whichever vendor is the responsible and responsive bidder with the lowest price. So the contract would have a fixed price. And this is something that could be issued by a single school food authority, or we have seen school food authorities work together to issue this on behalf of a group of schools to make the process easier for everyone. A request for proposals can be really appropriate for selecting a wide array of items, and you're able to develop a wide range of evaluation criteria. So this is not just based on price. Price is one of the criteria, but not the only one. So particularly in the world of local food purchasing, this can be a really great opportunity to highlight some of the other procurement values that are important to you. So if you're interested in specifically where the food is coming from, or perhaps you're looking for something with another value like it being organic or having a particular animal welfare certification, that sort of thing. This can be a really great opportunity to highlight those values and really bring them into the evaluation criteria. And much like the invitation for bid, an individual school district can, or school food authority, can develop a request for proposals, or another entity can do this on behalf of a group of districts. Some of you may be familiar with the Northeast Produce Request for Proposals that we worked on with the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, which was issued on behalf of all school districts in the state. So that's an example of how a request for proposals can be used by an individual district, but it applies to many districts.
Thank you, Simka. So as Simka mentioned, cooperative purchasing, it can be a really great opportunity and method for leveraging the demand that you and your peers from other school districts have. We certainly encourage folks to utilize the MAPC Northeast Produce RFP for local produce, especially because it was, we worked in partnership to make the RFP eligible for any municipality within the state. They're with this process, districts are responsible for issuing their own contract with the award, and we have sample materials on the website, which you can use the QR code to access. And I would say, with the multiple vendors awarded, you can also do a little bit of price shopping between the different vendors that might be serving your service area. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about issuing a contract with any of those food hubs or distributors. Additionally, we're very excited about OSD's Grow 42 school nutrition products solicitation, because that similarly is eligible for any district in the state to use because it's being led through the state contract. So it has been director led, which I think we all appreciate the stakeholders being at the table and really designing that RFP to meet the school nutrition needs. You can access the contract and the blanket PO via Combis, and the categories include produce, not just local, so commodity produce, grocery, and coming soon will be a local foods contract. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Michael Berry, who's the category manager at Operational Services Division. So some procurement takeaways. Outside of a micro purchase, procurement relationships really require a contract. So if you're doing a request for quotes, an IFB, or an RFP, there should be a contract between the purchaser or the vendor, and it depends on who is issuing the solicitation as to who's holding the contract. So as I mentioned, for the MAPC bid, districts will need to issue their own contracts for that relationship. But in some cases, for a group IFB, a school district might issue the IFB and hold a contract that other districts fall under. We've really strongly encouraged folks to utilize the sample request for quotes, especially for purchases under $100,000. We also want you to realize that you don't have to be limited by the micro purchase threshold to source local foods. We know that some directors are a little intimidated by the request for quotes process, and so we are really happy to help you develop those materials to get the vendors with the products that you really want, and hopefully encourage more local sourcing. And please take advantage of the collaborative opportunities, including the MAPC Northeast Produce bid and the OSD's GRO 42. Additional resources, we do have a local food map through Mass Farm to School. So if you use the QR code here on the screen, you can access that map and you can sort by the farm products available, if they do pick your own, um, if they offer field trips. So we encourage folks to look for information that way. This is a self-selecting, self-reporting form. So farms who opt into this form are excited to work with schools. Additionally, Mass Farm to School is here to support you in making connections with local vendors. You can schedule a strategic procurement consultation with us to really plan out and maximize your local sourcing, and you can use the QR code on the screen in order to do that. We are here to help support with RFPs, requests for quotes, etc. And as always, we also have promotional materials, including our Harvest of the Month program, which includes ample posters and uh, sample newsletters, social media kits, etc., and our farm to school month templates that will be leveraged for every October, which is our farm to school month. Lastly, we are working in partnership again with DESE's Office of Food and Nutrition Programs for the Terrific Tray competition. So we're thrilled to see photographs of exemplary, visibly reimbursable school lunches. You can use the QR code on the screen to see the full list of, what's required for submission, but we really want to see photos that highlight the abundance of Massachusetts agriculture, including having recipes available so other districts can recreate the delicious foods that you might be displaying. We prefer high resolution photos if you have that available, and the real carrots for why you should enter to win a terrific tray include a $2,500 check from the Henry P. Kendall Foundation to reinvest into your school nutrition program. You would receive some local food swag from Massachusetts Farm to School. You are eligible to complete in the Terrific Tray of the Year, which includes 2 free tickets to the Healthy Kids Healthy Program Summit that's offered with DESE and JSI each May, and more. So if you're interested, please check out the more information on our website. So that is the conclusion of our prescribed slides. So should you have any questions, feel free to drop them into the Q&A. Simca and my contact information is up on the screen, and we welcome you to get in touch with us if you have follow-up questions or want additional support in conducting your procurement process this school year.